It is hot and humid in the Three Rivers City. Beautiful views from PNC Park across the Allegheny River. The Rockies will play 3 here in Pittsburgh. It's hot and humid tonight. And after these 3 ball games, the Rockies return home to take on the San Francisco Giants. And Jameson Taillon taking the field. And you can never really imagine what kind of emotions a young man has going through what he has. And he has said the right things. And we asked Clint Hurdle earlier about how he thought he'd handle it. And he said, listen, he goes, it looks like he's going to handle it well, but you don't know until you get out there. And we couldn't even imagine the butterflies, the nerves, everything that he had when he was jogging out onto the field. So Taillon will face Charlie Blackmon to begin things. Charlie has had, as you know, a gorgeous year so far, and he's hot coming into this series as he has hit in 9 consecutive ball games. The Southwest batting order: LeMahieu, Arenado, Reynolds, Gonzalez, Desmond, Story, Walters, and Freeland. First pitch of the ball game is off the outside corner, ball 1. Taillon is not just a really nice story because of what he's gone through. 2010, he was the 2nd pick in the entire draft, right after Bryce Harper and before Manny Machado. And he has battled not only the cancer situation most recently, but Tommy John surgery, sports hernia. He's hitting the head on a line drive last year, and he's finally been able to pitch. And for the most part, when he's pitched, he's pitched really well. Yeah, and even down on his minor league rehab starts, he pitched well. 14 innings, just 13 hits, 21 strikeouts, 3 walks, and his arsenal is fastball, curveball, changeup. And we really don't know what it's going to be like because he hasn't been out on the major league mound. Yeah, the scouting report's going to tell you that curveball is going to be a 12-6. The changeup's going to fade away from a lefty. But until you get in that box and see it again, that's when you'll get the scouting report. There's the curveball. Did he hold up? Yes, he did. They check it out at third. That's Ed Hickox at third. Or excuse me, that's Ron Kolpa. Let me double down on what I was saying, or not remove what I was saying. Can't speak English today. I may do the game in Mandarin after this. Jerry Meals is at third. Ed Hickox is behind the plate. You with me, Huey? I got it. Okay. I got it down. 2-2. That's in the dirt. 3-2. Big arm. You see 96 on the fastballs. And when pitchers have problems early on or just coming back, all that, it's usually with the off-speed pitches because they want to overthrow them. There's so much adrenaline running through the body. Here's the 3-2, and Charlie fouls that pitch off. But still, what a neat story to see Jameson out on the hill. It's great. I mean, literally 5 weeks after surgery. .86 degrees the temperature, but it is much warmer than that down on the field. And Charlie waits that pitch. That was at 97 miles an hour. I think there's a lot of people still hung over from the Penguins' Stanley Cup clinching victory last night in Nashville, because you would best characterize the crowd tonight as a small gathering. Well, they had a large gathering until about 1:30 this morning, and maybe even past then. And that's lifted foul and out of play. I saw some of the news reports that had it out there. People were still on the streets. Now, you're an Avs fan, but you're also a big Penguins fan. Avs first, Penguins second. Yeah, you and Cody, your youngest. And I saw you guys come in, what was that, 5 in the morning? Yeah, we were waiting for the plane to come in. Oh, strike 3. Throws him with a breaking ball. So Taillon in a good battle with Blackmon, and he wins it. But here's the timeline for Taillon. His last start was May 3rd against the Reds. And then he was placed on the DL May 8th after the diagnosis. He had surgery. 8 days later, he did some light cardio work. It was 15 days later, he threw off a mound. And then 3 rehab starts. And here he is back in the big leagues. Pretty amazing. Now, like Chad, he'll have to undergo regular blood work, because Chad, and that's what he was talking about in the soundbite, Chad had his surgery in late November. it wasn't until 3.5 months later that the diagnosis came back that the cancer had spread a little bit to his lymph nodes, and that's why he had to undergo chemotherapy. But Chad was pitching and was on pace to pitch the one of the opening couple of ball games of the season.
I think that's also why Chad had reached out to Jameson. They formed the bond, and he understood what he's going through. And we will have Chad on here in the top of the 3rd inning. We'll put the headset on down by the dugout.
There's Bettis. I'm glad Chad doesn't have the hood up today, because
he had it up yesterday.
It's too hot. 2-1, and this ball is fouled off. Our buddy Thomas Harding on MLB.com did a really nice piece on DJ and how when he was in the Cubs organization, because he's so big and strong, they tried to get him to pull the baseball, and he did his best to adhere to that, and he finally went back to being who he is, driving the ball the other way. And Tyone with a couple of strikeouts to begin. Here the Pirates defensively behind Tyone tonight, and it begins with the catcher, the young catcher Elias Diaz has waited his turn. They've had a lot of injuries behind the plate. Francisco Cervelli is out with a concussion, could return on Wednesday. Chris Stewart is also out, but Diaz has done a nice job. Osuna at first base, Max Moroff, another rookie, he's at second base. Of course, you saw McCutchen out in center field.
They're still trying to sprinkle some of these youngsters in with the veteran holdovers from their playoff years.
0-1 on Nolan.
You see the live arm from Jameson, 96, 97 miles an hour. As you said, Drew, 1st round pick, 2nd overall out of high school in Woodlands, Texas, just a suburb of Houston.
Another thing he shares in common with Chad, both Texas kids. Nolan, who did not start yesterday, pinch hit in the 9th. When he came out, he was rated the top pitching prospect in the whole draft, not just the top high school pitching prospect that year. And that's a base hit up the middle. Nolan sees enough in 96, 97. He's going to figure it out. And he rips that up the middle, and that will allow Mark Reynolds to hit here in the 1st. Well, how good was Mark against the Cubs?
Real good. It didn't matter where they pitched him. He was going to get a base hit. A home run out of the ballpark, 7 for 14, 3 RBIs. And big RBIs, too. I mean, when you needed something to happen, Mark was there. Yesterday, that single in part of the 5th inning for the Rockies to tie the ball game up 4-4.
Reynolds takes ball 1. With the ribby yesterday, Mark has 54 RBIs in 61 games. Last year, which was a good year, he had 53 RBIs in 118 games. His OPS currently is 200 points higher than his career OPS. Look at some of these numbers on Mark, and people keep asking us, they keep asking Mark naturally, what's the difference? And it goes back a couple of years, and he, you can get suggestions from a hitting coach, but guess what? It comes down to Mark putting in the time, the effort, the willingness to kind of change a little bit who he was, and to be able to become the kind of hitter that we've seen most of the last 2 years. He deserves all the credit.
Well, and then not only that, but you have the change, and then you see results because of it. I think that's the key, because we've seen hitters change what they do at the plate, and then they don't get results immediately, so they stop it. They go back to what they were doing, because that's how you got to the big leagues.
1-2 with 2 outs. Arenado at first. Curveball, and Nolan took off. Sneak attack, his 2nd stolen base.
I think he was the only one in the ballpark, and maybe Bud Black, that knew he was going to go. Yeah, I don't think Pittsburgh thought he would. It helped that it was a breaking pitch that the catcher just had to block. But now he's in scoring position for Mark.
Now you can quote unquote steal a run. Outfield deep naturally for Reynolds. 2-2. And that's the great eye also. And Reynolds even when he was striking out a lot had a pretty good eye. He would walk about 11-12% of the time. RBI leaders. 3-2. And this is in the air to right field, but it's right at Gregory Polanco. So the Rockies get a base hit. They get a stolen base, in fact, from Nolan. We'll go to the bottom of the first. On the pond, these are ducks on the Allegheny River, Huey.
That was good.
You like that one?
I like that one a lot.
Okay.
Yep.
Remember we had ducks on the field in Chicago,
yeah.
And they wouldn't move.
No.
This is Max Moroff, a former 16th round pick back in 2012, starting at second base tonight. Switch hitter will be atop Clint Hurdle's lineup. It's presented by Southwest Airlines. Josh Harrison's probably been their offensive MVP, hitting .307. Then it's Polanco, Freese, Osuna. McCutchen was dropped in the lineup, and since he was dropped in the lineup, he's gained close to 50 points on his average over the last 15 ball games. Diaz, the catcher, bats 7th. Jordy Mercer, who has hurt the Rockies over the years, he'll bat 8th in front of the pitcher, Tyone. Pirates are 7-11 against lefties. Freeland's first pitch misses ball 1 on the 5'10" Max Moroff. 7-3 record, 4-0 out on the road.
Yeah, 3.18 ERA out on the road. Rockies are 6-0 in his starts.
Outside corner, 1-1.
And where he's getting a lot of the ground balls is the cut fastball and the slider. And last start, his slider is very, very effective. It was sharp. It was going down. Some swings and misses and easy ground balls. Good changeup.
That's a really good changeup. That's a pitch you want if you're Freeland. Maybe that danced around the outside corner. It did. That's up 3-1. Three and one on Moroff, who's got some pop and walked, and that's something Freeland has not been doing. Just 4 walks over his last 3 starts after battling some command issues. That'll bring up Josh Harrison. The Rockies defensively. Nolan has gone errorless this year. It's the longest run of errorless baseball to begin a season since Don Money set the record, going 83 straight back for the Brewers some years ago. Desmond Blackmon and Cargo in the outfield. Story, LeMahieu, Reynolds in an infield. Those regulars have not committed an error in 31 games. They've been that good.
.990 fielding percentage overall for the ball club.
Right at the knees. That's a good spot from Freeland against Josh Harrison. 7 home runs, 20 driven in for Harrison, who will hit first or second typically in Hurdle's lineup.
Remember a few years back, he was an all-star. One of those utility guy all-stars. He'd play everywhere.
And time was granted. Reminds me of the former Rocky who played for the Angels, who played multiple spots and signed a big deal with Seattle. Doing
Sean
Figgins. Yeah, Sean Figgins. This kid at first naturally can run. You typically have guys who lead off who can run. In high school, Winter Park, Florida, he was 80 out of 80. It's pretty good.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. He signed a letter of intent to play college baseball at Central Florida, but signed instead with the Pirates. Clint describes him as a blue-collar kind of guy.
And then he fits right in here in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. They embrace hard-working, hard-hat types. Clint's been embraced here because he's won also. 3-year run of going to the postseason, 13, 14, and 15. They could never capture that division because of the Cardinals. The Reds had a really good year at one point in there. They won 98 games one year and didn't win the division. This ball's crushed to left field. Way back and gone. Harrison gives Pittsburgh a 2-0 lead. 2 hitters hit. Well, this is reminiscent of yesterday.
Well, for Kyle, that's the 8th home run that he's given up. And all 8 have come in the last 5 ball games. And he knew it immediately. It had that loud sound, and Josh Harrison now has a 10-game hit streak. One more look on the Subaru Supermo. The cut fastball that didn't get inside. But so far, Kyle, he's had a couple pitches down in the zone, but a lot of the misses have been up in the zone.
1-0 on Gregory Polanco, and that cutter's in there for a strike. Pirates have won 2 straight after losing 4 in a row. They beat Miami yesterday 3-1. And this is in the air to Desmond in shallow left. If he can get there, no, it'll instead be Story running out, catching that flare. 1 gone. David Freese will come up. Join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts and questions. Use Twitter or Instagram. Include the hashtag Toyota Talk. David Freese, the St. Louis native and World Series hero for the Cardinals. And that's a base hit for Freese. The Pirates, even during the 4-game losing streak, they've been swinging the bat. Most nights they're producing at least 10+ hits. Go back the last few weeks, and they have the second highest batting average in Major League Baseball. So despite coming in 7 games under 500, they've been hot offensively, and Steve Foster's going to go out early.
And the one thing they hadn't done in the last 4 games was hit a home run. They've gone 176 plate appearances without hitting a home run until that dinger by Harrison.
This is Jose Osuna. He's had to wait his turn. He's got a lot of time in Indianapolis. Played some outfield. He's primarily a first baseman. They hope he can become a right-handed power hitter for Pittsburgh. In his amateur days, he was almost exclusively a pitcher.
You don't see the transition going from pitcher to hitter very often. David Peralta is the one guy I think of immediately for Arizona that's done it. But
Rick Ankiel.
But 9 times out of 10, it's the other way around. You can't hit, so you got to go pitch.
You have a big arm. Matt Bush. 1-1. Line to Cargo in right, and the one thing we haven't seen is ground balls, and he has the second best ground ball rate in the National League.
Yeah, 59.3%, 5th best in all of baseball. Clayton Richard is the lone guy ahead of him in the National League. Chatty, who will throw tomorrow, is 3rd and 6th in all of baseball.
2 outs, Freeze at first base, and here is McCutchen. So strange to see him hitting out of the top 3 or 4 spots in the lineup. Changeup, may have been a fastball actually. 0-1.
But that's where you want to see it on the Subaru strike zone, down and away. You want to see it down in the bottom quadrant of the strike zone.
To third, Nolan's got it, and he'll throw out McCutchen. In the inning, a walk to Moroff, and then a home run to left by Josh Harrison has the Rockies in an early hole.
Up 2-0 here as we go to the 2nd inning. The Rockies come into this game with 24 road wins. That's the most in all of the major leagues. And Drew actually asked Clint about that. Was he surprised? And then we hear from Bud Black. The 2 managers similar on this situation about winning at home and on the road with the Rocks.
As we talked about many times back in the day, if you take a good ball club and you put it in Coors Field, they're going to win games. You take that same ball club, take it on the road, they're going to win games.
What we talked about in spring training was not distinguishing between home and road. How about let's just play good, like all the time? Doesn't that make sense? And the guys sort of got it. They thought, why can't we? I mean, yeah, it makes sense. We're a good team. Let's just play good wherever we are.
Cargo grounds out here, leading off the second. That's the point, right? Drew and Huey, just play well.
I always felt, you know, a while ago, and I think it's obviously true to this day, you're not going to win an ERA title probably in a Rockies uniform, but good pitching plays anywhere. And this is a really good team. And that's why they're winning on the road. That's why they win at home. And that was acknowledged by Clint Hurdle. It was acknowledged yesterday by Joe Madden. I mean, he had so many wonderful things to say about how good the Rockies are, how good their young pitching is.
That's what we get everywhere we go now. People want to talk about the ball club, and it used to be, well, they'll talk about the offense. Oh, that's a great offensive ball. Now it's about everybody. It's about the veteran leadership you have. It's about guys that are playing. It's about the starters and then the back end of the bullpen. So it's a combination of a lot of things. But there's only one team right now that have played more games out on the road than the Rockies. It's the Chicago White Sox. They played 38 games. And that's kind of, you know, yesterday we were talking about teams within the division, how they did. It seems like the Dodgers have played a lot of games at home. They've played 5 more games at home than the Rockies. Same with the Diamondbacks. But they'll have their month where they're only home 7, 8 times, like the Rockies are only home 9 times this month of June.
But the bottom line is, wherever you line up, you got to win, and that's what the Rockies have been doing. And listen, they've been a better road team this year than they've been a home team, and hopefully that will, I don't say change, because you want to see him continue to play great on the road. There's a strike to Trevor Story, 17 and 13 at home, and you hope they become a 50-plus win home team.
But when you have one of those long stretches, 8 or 9 games at home, where you can get onto that roll, that's when you'll see those numbers increase a lot.
It's that curveball, and you see a lot of action on it. He has a high spin rate with his curveball. When he was in the minor leagues, he was rated the best curveball in the Pirates system. And he's always had the big arm. 1-1.
And he's just 25 years of age. Right out of the hand. That's a sharp bender, a lot of break, and that spin rate, that's where it stays on the line and then falls hard and fast. Going right back to it.
And he gets a strikeout, his third. It's a 1-2-3 second inning. Well, whatever emotions he's having, he's obviously handling them very well. An 8-pitch frame. En Route Sports is brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores. By the Lodge Casino, your first choice for fun. And by Southwest Airlines, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Well, the Rockies down 2-0 as Freeland gave up a 2-run home run to Josh Harrison in the first, and it'll be 7, 8, and 9 in the second to face Kyle. Elias Diaz is the catcher, and he takes strike one. Diaz 11 for his last 22 at the plate. Came up in the Pirate system, known as a defense first guy. Behind the plate, he grounds to second. That'll bring up Jordy Mercer.
Well, it's good to see the last two outs for the Rockies and Kyle Freeland were ground ball outs. We were talking about Jameson and the nerves that are going through him. But Kyle's the same way, though. All these youngsters are starting out on mounds that they've never seen before. They've never pitched in these ballparks. So I think at times now, because we expect so much of these kids, that we kind of forget that it's still new to them too.
Well, one thing you can tell early on, Tyone is on his game, and he's a big time stuff guy. Talking about 96 to 98 with a fastball and an outstanding curveball.
The curveball's the pitch that has impressed me so far.
Two balls and a strike on Mercer. Major League Draft is underway. And there was a surprise with the #1 pick. This is on the ground. DJ dives, can't get it. Base hit. Mercer continues to beat up the Rockies. That'll bring up Tyone.
So when you're saying it was a surprise, Hunter Green wasn't taken first?
Well, Hunter Green, for a long time, everybody thought he'd go #1. And then it was maybe McKay, the two-way player at Louisville, first baseman, left-handed pitcher, and there were many who thought that he may go #1. Well, it was a high school shortstop, Royce Lewis, who can play short or the middle spot in the outfield. He went #1 to Minnesota. Tyone with a good bunt. So with 2 outs, that'll bring up Moroff, the leadoff hitter, and in scoring position is Mercer. Chad Bettis will join us in the top of the 3rd inning.
Second baseman, Max Moroff.
And that's in there, strike one.
Might have been the first slurve we've seen today from Tyler. Moroff, when he was at Indianapolis, he had hit 13 home runs. Said Tyler a moment ago. I was thinking about Tyler Anderson too, who's set to throw a simulated game tomorrow. Sorry about that, Kyle. But now that it's out there, Kyle needs to continue to throw that slurve because it has been a good pitch. I like it.
Right at the knees, well received by Tony Walters. He may have stolen a strike there in the Subaru strike zone by working ground up, Huey.
Well, those are the infielder's hands that we talk frequently about. That's where I like what Tony does and how he sets a really low target, gets down, telling the pitcher, give it to me low, it's okay.
Ball and 2 strikes on the switch hitter, Max Moroff. Rockies had not won a series at PNC Park since 2011.
The Pirates have played well against the National League West overall from 2015. They're 52-24 over that time.
Interesting numbers. They were beating a lot of people, though, for the last few years. Ground ball to short. And Story throws out Moroff. In the inning, there was a base hit and a man left. We are through 2-0 Pittsburgh. Chad Bettis when we come back. A little hot for me. Allegheny River and PNC Park, one of the most picturesque ballparks. It affords great views across the river as well. We go to the top of the third. Rockies down 2-0. Chad Bettis is kind enough to join us from the dugout. Chad, first and foremost, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks, guys.
Good deal. And you know, I'm really happy to see you not with the hood on tonight because I couldn't stand it. I know you're from Texas and I know you're used to the heat, but come on, man.
Yeah, no,
Even yesterday
I couldn't
in
have
Chicago,
it on because I had to have this headset on.
Chicago, you had it over your head.
I did. I sure did.
And it was hot yesterday. Hey, I know you've been texting back and forth. You reached out initially with Jameson. And take us through a little bit about the relationship you guys have quickly forged.
No, yeah, you know, I think it was unfortunate that both of us had to go through something like this, but no, you know, I think it was you know, it was a quick brotherhood that we bonded over, and you know, I think that I was just there to help him out and lend any support that I could give him and or advice, because you know, I think the more people you have in your corner, the better it is for you throughout this disease. So no, I'm glad he's out there, and you know, it looks healthy.
And as athletes, our sanctuary is the locker room, the ball field. And I know it's meant a lot to you to come back and just be around the guys. But what do you think it was like? And I know you're going to experience this soon, but for him to jog out to the mound the first time.
No, I don't know. You know, I think you probably can't put that into words. And I don't know if he'll be able to, but I bet he has something to say that probably along the lines of it being very exciting for him. And he's probably happy to be back out there, too.
You know, that support group, I know in talking to you, is huge. This is down the third base line. Freese makes a good play. He's not going to throw out Freeland. He's too good an athlete. If Freeland is racing, by the way, I'm going to segue here for a moment before you answer that other question. If you line up all the starting pitchers, with all due respect, Chad, I got Freeland in the race, okay?
Yeah, I do too. It's okay.
All right, there we go. Now we'll move on to the original question. But there were some, well-known people who reached out to you, most notably Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
But for Tyone to have a guy who does the exact same thing as he does, pitch in the big league, starting pitcher, also happens to be a Texan. It had to be huge from his standpoint.
Well, I mean, I hope so. You know, I mean, I'm just here to help. You know, it wasn't anything that I was trying to showboat or anything by any means. It's just I was just reaching out to him, letting him know that I was there, and that if he had any questions for me about the whole process and everything moving forward, that I was here for his disposal.
Here's Charlie.
Speaking of moving forward, I know you've been throwing a lot of flat groundwork right now, and for you personally, how is that, and how's the arm responding?
Oh, it's been great. You know, there hasn't been any setbacks, and we're being able to progress forward throughout this whole thing. So it's been really good. I was out to about 120 feet today. Threw a little flat ground, probably 20 pitches or so, and it feels good. I feel good. You know, I think my body's responding well, and it's nice that we haven't had to worry about any setbacks from that standpoint.
And I saw you when you came in from running foul poles, and you looked overjoyed about that.
No, yeah, you know, I was shockingly enough. No, but it was good. You know, I was really happy because I was really uncertain how I was going to be able to recover, just because it was the first time I've ever done that. And so the fact that I was able to recover and catch my breath by the time I got back to the foul line, I was really happy with that. I thought that was a big step for me.
Pitchers always hate running foul poles, though. Do you still hate them?
I didn't hate them today.
How cool has it been for you to watch and see some of these young guys? And I've, you know, Jeff and I've always referred to you and Spilly as kind of the leader. And I know you may be uncomfortable with that, but the leader of that young group, just by your personality a little bit. You're a 14-game winner last year, but to see the Freelands and the Senzatellas and the Marquez, now Hoffman, come up and do what they've done, it has to give you great satisfaction also.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see our guys have success, no doubt. You know, I think that everybody's stepping up and doing their job, and it's, you know, I couldn't be more happier for these guys because, I mean, we're on a great roll right now. We're going to keep it rolling.
3-2 on Charlie with Freeland at first and 1 out. Rockies trailing 2-0. And that's ball 4, so 2 are on. I'll tell you what, Chad, we really appreciate it. I know you want to watch the ball game,
no worries,
and
no worries.
We'll let you focus on that. We're thrilled, first and foremost, that you're doing so great in your recovery. Can't wait to see and talk about you when you take that mound again in the not-too-distant future.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate
Chad.
it.
Appreciate it.
All right, Betty.
Bye-bye.
And Chad has actually yet to officially meet Jamison. That'll happen, I'm sure, tomorrow, naturally, with Tyone pitching today. This ball pulled to third. There's one, and on the first, that's a double play. So the Rockies get 2 on, but on the first pitch, DJ grounds into a 5-4-3 double play. 2-0 Pirates. Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And by the Wyoming Office of Tourism. Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why. TravelWyoming.com. Well, you can see PNC Park, and off right behind PNC is Heinz Field here on the Allegheny River. And the weekend coming tomorrow. Well, the weekend doesn't come up. We just had the weekend.
Monday.
Yeah, I'm losing it. But normally you would have
baseball season. It's okay.
You never know what day it is.
That's right.
Baseball season. Just know there's a ball game.
There's a ball game. Got a good game here.
That's a beautiful thing. But the boats normally come in. Then some of the house boats. Folks will dock and make their way to the ballpark, and then have instead of tailgating in the parking lot, they tailgate right on the river. Parade is Wednesday for the Penguins.
I'll be busy here this weekend too. Cubs are in town.
And the Penguins, a lot of the Penguins are going to be here and feted during the pregame, which means the Cup will be here. That'll be special. Josh Harrison hit a 2-run home run in the first. He'll lead things off in the third against Kyle Freeland. Ball and a strike on Harrison, product of the University of Cincinnati.
Oh, Ian Happ, who we just saw with the Cubs from University of Cincinnati.
So he's on the ground to short. High throw, safe. That's second time in a couple of days that Story on a routine play has thrown high to Mark Reynolds. And
this one was different too, yeah, because he really just shuffled his feet and threw this all arm. So watch how he gets it. It throws it arm and drops down. And when you drop down and lead with the elbow, the ball starts to sail on you. Yesterday, Mark was able to come off and make the tag. And this time, Josh Harrison with the head-first slide. And you see him, he knew that there was going to be, once Mark went up, that's why he went around and slid head first.
And he was safe. The Rockies looked at it underneath.
It's a 5th error on the season for Trevor.
And we were brisk bragging on that infield. They hadn't made an error in more than a month. The regulars.
And Subaru Supermo coming through with the look. Mark never was able to reach Harrison as he slid towards the outside of the bag.
Here's Polanco. Tell you something else. This is amazing. It speaks to why the Rockies have not played well at PNC Park last several years. That's 11 straight games now for the Rockies at PNC where they've committed at least one error. It's the longest stretch they've ever had in a visiting ballpark. Consecutive stretch.
And talking to all the infielders, they like the dirt. They like the grass out there. It's not anything that the mixture is so much different than anywhere else.
Well, that was all about the throw.
Yeah. Well, I think with Trevor, I think what happened on that one is he had more time than what he imagined, because he could have still shuffled his feet, come up over the top, and made the throw. Pirates have stolen 30 bases. They've also been caught 23 times, so they're just at 57% success ratio. Harrison 6 for 9.
Unless you get a double play, it just forces Freeland naturally to throw more pitches. And this is going to be a situation where you can only get one. One good thing for Freeland, the last couple innings, we're seeing the ball on the ground again. First inning, 2-run home run by Harrison. Polanco hit one in the air. Freeze lined a base hit. Osuna lined a shot to right that was caught by Cargo. There's only one ground ball in that inning. That was McCutchen ending the inning, grounding to third.
Yeah, the last 5 outs have been on the ground, and it could have been 6 because you did get the ball on the ground to Trevor.
David Freese takes ball 1. Freese, like a lot of these Pirates, we're talking about it, they've been swinging it well. He's hitting .355 over his last 8 games.
He's also 6 for his last 9 against left-handed pitching, including tonight.
Yeah, .324 overall against lefties. That's a strike.
But where Kyle has excelled is against the 4-hole hitter. Doesn't matter who's there, what they're doing, even including the base hit tonight by David Freese. 4 holes, just 4 for 30. 133 average.
Harrison dives back.
He's got that big oven mitt on his left hand.
Two balls and a strike. Freeland in his last start beat Cleveland. A run over 6 1/3 on 6 hits. Did not walk anybody. Struck out 5.
He had 9 ground ball outs in that game.
Line to right, base hit. That'll score a 3rd run. Freeze in a second with a double. And now that error very costly. Can't afford to fall very far behind the way Tyone is throwing the baseball.
Now Freeze coming through with a double, his 23rd RBI. Cargo slides to keep it from going to the wall, but Freeze had the double anyway.
Jose Osuna hit the ball on the button, but right at Gonzalez in the 1st inning. And Hickok says that's outside. 2-0. Osuna, 24-year-old from Venezuela. Before the season began, Pirates lost one of their middle of the order guys. Starling Marte suspended, and that's a base hit. Cargo on 1 hop will hold Freeze at 3rd.
They've also lost Gong too. Their 3rd baseman still over in South Korea. So they lost their 3rd 3-hole hitter and their 4-hole hitter.
McCutchen getting ready to come up. Steve Foster for the 2nd time in the ball game out to visit with Freeland, who's been barreled several times in this game already.
And for Kyle, he had the lowest line drive percentage in the National League coming into the game. Just a little over 19%. Pirates turned a double play in the top half of the 3rd inning to get out of a jam. Well, that's what Kyle's looking for. Rockies have turned 73 double plays on the season.
McCutchen bounced to third his first time, and that's a strike. McCutchen, surprisingly for a guy that runs well, has grounded into 8 double plays. Rockies got a short start yesterday from Sensatella, just 4 innings. And that is ripped to left. It is 4-0 Pittsburgh. This is kind of reminiscent of past ball games for the Rockies at PNC. Freeland obviously does not have that good downward movement that we're accustomed to.
Andrew McCutchen, since moving into this 6th spot in the lineup, he's hit pretty well, over 400. He ripped that one.
6 hits allowed already in 2 1/3. Diaz, the catcher, at the plate.
Diaz 7 for 13 with runners in scoring position. I know he's a favorite of Clint Hurdle's. Talking to him, really likes this young catcher. They're 49 pitches in for Kyle, 31 for strikes, but they haven't been quality strikes. I mean, he's throwing some, but those include the ones that are getting hit hard.
This was not hit very hard, and a good play by Freeland. That may have been his only play. He gets the force out at third, and that'll bring up Mercer.
It's having baseball awareness and being an athlete coming off the hill. You're right, Drew. He knew that's where he wanted to go, and he took an extra second to make sure he had that grip and just didn't throw wildly. Also allowed Nolan to get to the bag.
Mercer at the plate. He had a base hit his first time up. Shouldn't be a surprise. He's hit close to 400 over his last 45 at bats against Rockies pitching. Mercer, since May 20th, 3-week time period, third best average in the big leagues, 395.
High draft pick out of Oklahoma State.
He's from a small Oklahoma town. He's a big star in the Big 12.
He came in and basically took the job away from Clint Barmas.
Late in Clint's career. To third. Oh my goodness, what a pickup. Retreating, Nolan makes a fine play. That'll get the Rockies off the field. The inning began with an error, and it went downhill from there. 2 runs come around. The Pirates are now up 4-0 going into the 4th. Here in the fourth inning, Rockies need to get something going offensively as they're down 4-0, and the first pitch is in there. Strike on Arenado as one of the Rockies' 2 hits. The other hit is owned by Kyle Freeland. Well, if you're thinking, who can you get? What can you get in the second round? How about one of the first 3 guys in the Rockies order? Blackman in 08. Second round pick, 72nd overall out of Georgia Tech. DJ of the Cubs out of LSU, second round pick. Nolan by the Rockies out of a Southern California high school was a second round pick. They work.
Yeah, and that's why you have all the inputs from the scouts and everybody involved, and that's why their Rockies are in their war room in Scottsdale, Arizona right now.
You know the most famous 48th pick in the draft ever, don't you, Huey?
No.
Yes, you do. You know him really well. He's a good friend of yours, teammate. Didn't like to take days off.
Oh, Junior.
No. Oh well.
Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken Jr.
Yes.
I was thinking. Yeah, Cal
Yeah,
Ripken
no,
Jr.
the other Junior.
The other
Junior. Yeah.
Cal Ripken Jr. was the 48th pick in the draft when he came out. He did okay.
Yeah, those guys at the top, they're great. Some could be better in the second. Some could be good in the 10th round.
This is lined to right. It's going to get down. A base hit. Nolan's 2 for 2. If the Rockies score 7 or more in any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. Mark Reynolds hit the ball in the air to right in the first inning. Mark 7 for 14 in that Cubs series. Second best batting average against right-handed pitching in the National League. 354 behind his former University of Virginia teammate Ryan Zimmerman, and in front of his current teammate Charlie Blackmon. There it is. And speaking of the University of Virginia, the Diamondbacks just took the University of Virginia first baseman Pavin Smith with the 7th overall selection.
You got some high school kids, you got some college kids taken. Those war rooms are fun to be in during draft time when you, I mean, it might not be fun for the scouting directors. They got so much pressure on them and the GMs. But just to sit back and observe it and see how much time and energy and thought goes into each and every player and how you rank them up on the board.
That's down low, 3-1.
Trying to stay in and down on the Subaru strike zone to Mark. Saw what happens if you leave it up and out over the plate. They watched the highlights of the Cubs series.
And that's ball 4. Mark doing his thing. He's not getting hits. He's walking quite a bit. Now you have 2 on, nobody out, and a struggling Carlos Gonzalez coming to the plate.
I mean, you got to cash in here. You got to get 1, hopefully more than that, back from the Pirates. Let Kyle relax in the dugout for a moment. Put some pressure on Jameson.
Fargo, 280 career hitter with 6 home runs here at PNC. Grounded to second his first time up. Well, yesterday I think all the frustrations of the first 2.5 months boiled over for Cargo. Situation he desperately wanted to come through, called out on a borderline pitch inside, and Cargo was tossed by Marvin Hudson, the home plate umpire. Only the second time in his career he's ever been ejected.
September 9th of 2011 against Cincinnati was the last time and the first time that Cargo had been tossed.
Got a 1-0 count to work with. And 2-0.
Cargo had his average up to right around 250 after the last road trip. Now Ray Searage, the pitching coach, will call time and come out and have a little meeting of the minds.
They've been cruising at this point. But in the inning, a base hit by Nolan, and then he loses Reynolds. And if you're thinking, well, what's his pitch count? Because he's coming back from testicular cancer surgery. In his last start for Indianapolis, he threw 96 pitches. So he's got a full slate, if you will. As long as he's effective, he could throw 100+ pitches.
The only thing you might think about, though, and I agree with you, that the arm could do 100, but the emotions, how much adrenaline, everything that was hyped for him to come back out on the hill, and you kind of get through the first 40 or 50 pitches. You know how you go really high and then you kind of come off of that a little bit. I don't know if that's happening right now to Jamison or not, but it's a possibility.
Cargo fires at that. 2-1. Cargo trying to snap an 0 for 17. Just 5 for his last 48. Pirates don't shift a ton. They're straight up in the outfield. Mercer is around the second base bag. But he's on the left side of the diamond. Arenado at second, Reynolds at first. Good take. 3-1. Saw Cargo working hard on that, even in the cage today, where virtually every pitch is down the middle. But pitches that were just a little bit off.
Well, you have to do that when you're struggling, even in batting practice or working in the cage. So you make sure you try to replicate what you're going to do in the game.
3-1, and that's fouled off. It's one of the most commonly used terms for hitters at any level, but especially here, it is a grind. You feel great when it's going well, but there's always struggles around the corner. That is the nature of this sport. So it's 3-2 on Cargo. And this is going to be handled in shallow right.
And that was an infield fly, even though it was shallow right field. Immediately called by Ron Kolpa and Chris Conroy, the second base umpire.
When you're going through one of these periods, it literally will make you sick to your stomach.
It does. It'll make you stay up all night. You'll think about it. Nothing tastes good food-wise. You're just like, ugh.
You're miserable.
Ugh. That's what you feel like. I'm sure that's what Cargo feels like right now.
Even on the rare occasion, at least of late, when you've been able to square one up like yesterday, he smoked one to left field, but it was right at Ben Zobrist. Fouled off by Desmond. Desmond's been swinging it well. 9 for his last 22 over 5 ball games, a .409 average. He had a huge hit yesterday to tie up the game. What a great battle with Carl Edwards Jr.
He finally got that ground ball line drive right back up the box to drive in a couple runs. You want to catch all the action when the Giants come to Coors Field this Thursday through Sunday. Purchase your tickets online at Rockies.com.
2 strikes on Desmond. It's that curveball count. Now Diaz calls time. Great numbers for Ian with runners in scoring position. And a strikeout of Desmond. 2 outs now. That'll bring up Story.
Elevated fastball in the Subaru strike zone to get Ian 4 strikeout tonight for Jamison. 4-seamer on the Subaru Super Mode. Just stays right on plane. Foul tip into the glove of Diaz.
Story struck out on a curveball his first time up. And he towers this one into the air on the right side, and the Rockies are going to leave 2 on. They got the first 2 on. Can't do anything after that. Middle of 4. It's been all Pittsburgh 4-0 tonight. Speed challenge question. Go to @RootSports_RM to cast your vote. We'll get to the results during our Toyota postgame show. If your favorite team could win a championship, which would it be? We didn't have time or space, I guess. Not time. We didn't have space to put MSL or any of the other leagues, but we went with the big 4. NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL.
Okay, we know what our first choice is going to be. Okay.
Who are you speaking for?
Well, I'm assuming you and I. Baseball was number 1.
Yeah. So, I didn't know if you meant Colorado, Denver area.
No. Just baseball. Yeah, right here.
Tyone's going to ground out the second. 1 gone.
But what would be your second choice? NFL, NBA, NHL.
For me, it would be the New York Giants. They're the team I followed my whole life growing up.
Mine's the NHL. That's what mine would be.
You're a hockey guy now.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
the amazing thing is I could jab you with this a little bit, is you didn't know a puck from a stick 15 years ago. But
True.
Right?
True.
But now you're Mr. Hockey.
True. You're exactly right. I didn't.
grew up in Sedona, Arizona. You've never seen a hockey rink in your life. It's up and in, and Moroff's going to go to first.
Second time tonight, Moroff has been on base. Led off the game with the walk, and now in the fourth, hit by pitch.
And Freeland leads the league in hitting guys. That's 7 times he's plunked a guy. That'll bring up Harrison. Harrison, a 2-run home run in the first, and then reached on that throwing error by Story in the third. Rockies, again, have not played a clean baseball game, something they typically do as well as anybody in the sport. I got so many great thrills, as I know many of you did, watching the Avalanche capture a couple of cups. And working with the Nuggets for all those years. Hoping the Nuggets at some point can break through.
It's a fake cup, but the real cup's supposed to be here tomorrow night.
That's a big fake cup, though.
I'm with you. One of our Christmas cards was when the Avs won, and family around the Stanley Cup. Sylvain Lefebvre had it over at his house. Former defenseman for the Avs.
There were so many people, I think, he sent out. This ball's lined to center. Charlie's there. There were so many people who, if they had the opportunity to take a picture with the cup, that became the holiday card, right?
And why not?
Yep. 2 outs. That'll bring up Polanco, the right fielder.
That's lighter too.
A lot lighter. Not that I've ever picked up the cup, but I have put my mitts on it.
The real cup weighs 35 pounds. And you're not
That's
just
the
going to
best
be
trophy in sports. Not even close. That's the best trophy in sports. And the best tradition in sports.
Oh, no.
Oh man, Freeland throws this away.
Oh, will Mark hurt too? Oh no.
He's going to go to third.
Remember yesterday, Mark had that swing, and he went down a little bit onto his back right knee. I don't know if this is the same place, but he immediately grabbed his knee after he got tangled up with Moroff. Oh. So he
hyperextended a little bit.
May possibly.
Oh, maybe, yeah, the right knee.
The right knee, and that's the one he grabbed. But yesterday on this swing, watch his right knee go all the way down, and he can't get out of the box.
He was in early today getting treatment. The things nobody knows about, all the little aches and pains and areas guys are getting treatment, but then they come out at 7 o'clock and play. We know Mark pretty well, and Mark does not want to come out of this ball game. He does not.
Trying to test it now. And then jog just a little to see if he can go.
You know what? That was really light jogging. You wonder if the mind says yes, but the body's saying, I don't know.
Well, even with that squat there, he went more on his left leg than he did on his right leg trying to go down.
He's asking for his glove.
That's a tough cookie.
Yep. That's one.
Well, we're talking about hockey players. I mean, he wants to stay in there. Watch that knee. Ow. And they just showed it up on the big board here, and you could hear the fans in the crowd go, ooh.
That's one to watch. It stiffens up when he goes to the bench. So after the two-base error, the second for the Rockies, out on the pickoff throw by Freeland, Polanco resumes his at bat. And pops this one up. Story backpedaling, will have it. And Mark Reynolds will slowly, we're watching him go off the field, slowly walk toward the dugout. Pirates up 4-0 going to the fifth. Tony Walters will lead it off. Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Rockies struggling here in the early going against the Pirates. They're down 4-0. They've been out hit 6-3. They've made 2 errors. That is extremely uncharacteristic of the Rockies. Tony Walters, Kyle Freeland, Charlie Blackmon against the former second pick overall in the 2010 draft, Jamison Tyone. Both Tyone and Freeland were first-round picks, high first-round picks. Tonight, the first and second rounds taking place in the 2017 Major League Draft.
Rockies will have a couple picks tonight later on.
48, 70. Here's the 2 pitchers tonight. Freeland was drafted 8th overall in 2014 out of the University of Evansville, but people know he went to high school in Denver, Thomas Jefferson. And the Rockies also have the guy who was picked 9th out of East Carolina, Jeff Hoffman. Jordy Mercer, 1 out. I'll tell you a great story about Clint Hurdle. Clint Hurdle in 1975 was the 9th pick overall by the Kansas City Royals, way before cell phones, computers, et cetera, as we all know. So Clint, Merritt Island, Florida, with family and neighbors, they're sitting around their house, you know, hoping for a phone call. It goes on the old rotary phone on the wall in the kitchen.
With the long cord.
With the long cord. Said the phone would ring. He goes, I'd run over there and answer. He goes, Mom, it's for you. He had everybody rolling in. Phone to ring again. He goes, Dad, you're on the second shift tomorrow. Finally, the area scout who followed him throughout his high school career called to let him know that the Royals had taken him. He told a great story also, a sidebar story, that the A's had told them, listen, if we take you in the first round, here's your offer, and here's a phone number to call whether you're going to take it or not. And Clint was like, wow. Yeah. He goes, wow. He goes, that was a real bummer. He said, fortunately, Oakland didn't take me.
Never heard of that.
Yeah. Nor have I. And Clint hadn't heard of it either. And then Clint famously Cruised through the Royals system at 20. He made his major league debut with Kansas City. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, which takes me to another great Clint story we haven't told in a long time, obviously. Strikeout of Freeland, 2 gone. That's 5 strikeouts for Tyone. So Clint is driving somewhere with a buddy. And I think it's during spring training. They'd gotten up early. And they went to a convenience store to get something to drink on the way to the ballpark, right? And he's like, he jumped back because next to where they were paying was the latest cover, Sports Illustrated, and he's on the cover.
Did he do anything with it, or just kind of get taken aback by it?
Well, you got to take it.
I would have, you know what I'd done? I'd have picked it up,
right,
and then put it right next to my shoulder. Ask the guy, look at this.
Should have bought a ball, right?
Does he look familiar?
But, I mean, that just shows you a different time. This is another base hit for Charlie. He's got a 10-game hitting streak now. A different time. If you were on the cover of Sports Illustrated, you're going to know they're going to do a fancy shoot of you, and they're going to let you know, hey, you're going to be our cover guy. We're doing a feature piece on you. Clint had no idea he's going to get morning coffee at the convenience store on the way to spring training, and there he is.
It would have
been the most famous sports
magazines,
one of the most famous magazines.
And he didn't even know it.
And he didn't even know. Cover book.
Now it'd been tweeted and retweeted, and everybody would know within 5 seconds. Be hashtag, Instagrammed,
right?
Facebook.
DJ down a strike. He struck out in the first on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and then with 2 on and 1 out, he grounded into a 5-4-3 double play in the 3rd inning. That 75 draft is a curious one in the top portion of it. This is a base hit for DJ. The Rockies maybe starting to get a feel for Tyone his 3rd time through.
Well, they did it in the 4th inning with the leadoff base hit, and then a walk. Couldn't produce anything after that.
Back-to-back 2-out knocks, and here's Nolan, and Arenado is 2 for 2. Tell that story about the 75 draft. Maybe we'll sneak it in right now while they're having a meeting. So in the 75 draft, Danny Goodwin went #1 to the Angels. He played only 252 games. Mike Lentz went #2 to the Padres, never played in the big leagues. Les Filkins went #3 to Detroit, never played in the big leagues. Brian Rosinski went to the Cubs, #4, never played in the big leagues. 3 of the first 4. Rick O'Keefe went to Milwaukee. I played with his brother, John O'Keefe. Rick never got to the big leagues. 4 of the first 5. Butch Benson went to the Mets. He got 51 games in. Rick Cerone went #7 to Cleveland. He became a terrific Yankee. He had an outstanding career.
Yes, he did.
Ted Barnickel went 8th to the Giants. Never played in the big leagues. And then Clint went #9 to the Royals, and of the first 9 picks, he had the 2nd best career. And Clint will tell you this, he never obviously lived up to the billing. He became a platoon type of player later on, and actually had a couple of solid seasons, but never became the star that many had projected for him. But
especially when you're on this cover of Sports Illustrated,
right? And Clint's self-effacing about it now, but he still had a career. Look at this. Of the first 9, other than Rick Cerone and Clint a little bit, nobody else had.
That's it.
7,
not even a
6
game.
of them didn't even get to the big leagues.
Not even a cup of coffee.
That's why the major league draft is so different. Buddy's been asked about this. Clint was asked about it today. How much do you get involved? Very little with the draft. That's not That's not what they do. There's a bunch of experts for the Rockies. It's led by Billy Schmidt, who's done a marvelous job for a number of years, vice president of scouting. You got Danny Montgomery, you got Mike Erickson, you have cross-checkers, and Mark Gustafson. There's so many people on that side. That's what they do. But in the big league draft, you may not see that guy who is drafted high for 4, 5, 6 years. Charlie's going to move up, and he got in there. Pretty good throw by Diaz. So now it's 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. That's a wild pitch.
Well, Diaz was trying to back pick at first to DJ. Watch him come up out, and you see the first baseman start to go, and then that ball ends up going behind him, and it will be a wild pitch, which is under. It's got to be a pass ball, I would think, because he caught it.
I think it skipped a little bit, and that's why, you know, whenever it hits the dirt, they always give it to the pitcher.
But just because he came up and he looked like he was throwing, that's the only reason I thought it wasn't.
2-0 on Arenado. Another chance for the Rockies. And this ball is in the air to center field. McCutchen will have a routine play. Again, the Rockies will leave a couple on. They left 2 on in the 4th. They left a man on the 3rd, a man on in the 1st.
Bacon Burt, he wins the pierogi race. They gave him the Stanley Cup too after he won it, and he lifted that. We were talking about the drafts, and Drew was mentioning that Kyle Freeland and Jeff Hoffman were picked 8 and 9 in 2014. I want to go back to the year before that, 2013. They played in the Cape Cod League together at the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Jeff Hoffman offered this picture up to me, guys. That's Freeland with the water. He had the hose. They were the water boys. That was their duty in the Cape Cod League. They had to water the field before the games. I think it's called McKeon Park where they played. But they loved it, bonded there, and, you know, talked about that with me in a interview you saw on the Rockies pregame report, which is when they really got close.
I have never talked to anyone, Mark, that didn't have a remarkable time playing in the last best league, as it's known, the Cape Cod League, which for years has featured the premier players in college baseball. Yeah,
the college kids, you have to have eligibility left, and they all go there, have host families, and, you know, play on the Cape. I know that Adam Ottavino did it, and DJ did it, a number of Rockies.
Well, and that's when you kind of feel like you've made it too, because to be asked to play in the Cape is pretty special.
The Hyannis Harbor Hawks, by the way, start this season Wednesday night.
And you'll be there, right?
I don't think I'm going to be able to be there because I'll be here.
Oh, okay.
but I would.
You got to get that assignment.
I would be interested in covering that.
You got to catch a game.
Take me and Jeff with you for a day, please.
Sounds like a plan.
Never
Next
seen
off day.
Never seen a game on the Cape.
Nor have I. 2-2 on David Freese, a single and a double.
But that's what these summer leagues are for. I know there's a bunch of summer leagues in Colorado. There's the Northwoods League. There's Alaska. There's
Coastal Plains League. There's a lot of great collegiate leagues. The Northwoods
the Jayhawk League.
The Jayhawk League where you played. 3-2. It used to go Cape Cod, Alaska, and now it's the Northwoods League that
it's
I think has become the second best collegiate league. And a strikeout of Freese, and that is the first strikeout tonight for Freeland. Comes with the first hitter in the 5th inning. That'll bring up Jose Osuna. And Mark Reynolds is still in the ball game at first. Mark Reynolds is tougher than you. Yep, that's what you want. Osuna takes a strike. On the ground to DJ.
Rockies baseball is always live with the MLB.com at bat mobile app. Stay connected all season with video highlights, stats, news, and more.
Center fielder, Andrew McCutchen.
Freeland down 4-0, but he's worked pretty efficiently the last few innings. So his next pitch to McCutchen will be just his 70th. It gives him an opportunity, to work fairly deep into the game. When his number comes up again, you're going to get a pinch hitter naturally, but they're at the 4th spot. The Rockies are in the order, and that has happened most of the time this year. Even if one of these young guys is behind, he typically gives the Rockies length, so the bullpen's not eating up 6-7 innings.
Yeah, the only times you can really think about it was obviously with Antonio Senzatella yesterday, just 4 innings, but you had to go back to Marquez. He had that 3-inning start, but these guys are going out there 5+, 6 innings, it seems, on a regular basis. And for Kyle, he's at 82 pitches, but he's thrown at least 5 2/3 in 9 straight games.
Well,
excuse me, I said 82, 72.
Tyone is at 82, and he just got handshakes, we've been told, in the Pirate dugout. So Clint Hurdle feeling, listen, with all of the emotions of the day in his return, he's thrown shutout baseball for 5. Let's turn it over to the bullpen. He's also witnessed the Rockies putting together some good at-bats against him. McCutchen with 2 outs draws a walk. That'll bring up the catcher Diaz. Left-hander Wade LeBlanc for the Pirates. Diaz was grounded out twice. Got all kinds of draft stuff for you and some other interesting tidbits. Kyle Freeland's the 91st player born in the state of Colorado to play Major League Baseball. Misses 1-1. Recently, Chase Headley of the Yankees passed Roy Hartzell for most games played by a native Coloradan.
What's Chase up to now? How many games?
1,317.
Wow.
Freeland a #1, but the Rockies have a number of #1 players on their team. Jordan Lyles not selected by the Rockies, selected by Houston, was #1. Adam Ottavino by the Cardinals was a #1. Jeff Hoffman by Toronto a #1. Trevor Story by the Rockies a #1. Tyler Anderson a #1 by the Rockies. John Gray a #1 by the Rockies. David Dahl a #1 by the Rockies. Good to see so many homegrown guys. And a strikeout by Freeland to end the inning. McCutchen left at first. Middle of 5. It remains 4-0 Pittsburgh. The Rockies 4-0. Mark Reynolds will lead it off in the top of the 6th. On the road is brought to you by Lazy Days RV. Rockies been on the road a bunch, and it'll continue in June. After their next homestand, they'll go out for 9 games on the West Coast. 3 against the Dodgers, 3 against the Giants, and 3 against the Diamondbacks. That will be a big road trip. And we'll have all of them but that Wednesday day game in San Francisco right here on Root Sports. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Mark Stout. Mark Reynolds is 0 for 1 and a walk. Wade LeBlanc is now on the mound in relief of Jameson Taillon. In his first start since surgery for testicular cancer, 5 weeks to the day. Taillon goes 5 shutout innings. He allowed 5 hits.
We're going to get a different pitcher with Wade. Not just because he throws to the left side, just the velocity on his fastball. Fastball would be 85 to 87 miles an hour. It's been scored upon in his last 3 straight games. 7 earned runs in just 3 1/3 inning for Wade. We'll mix in some sliders, some change-ups, pretty much the kitchen sink. So guys are scrambling right now in the dugout. They're getting the iPad out. They're looking at scouting reports. Mortain was a hard fastball, 97 with a big curveball. Now it's fastball, cutter, changeup, slider.
Here's the 0-1. 2 strikes on Reynolds. Rockies had their 7-game win streak snapped yesterday, losing in Chicago 7-5. Still a gorgeous 24-11 on the road for Colorado. And LeBlanc on 3 pitches strikes out Reynolds. That'll bring up Cargo. 0 for 2, a ground ball to second and a little flare to second. Now the Pirates, with nobody on, will shift 3 onto the right side. The outfield remains straight up outside. Well, the Pirates are going to cover 4 innings with their bullpen. This hopefully is the opportunity for the Rockies, because their #1 guy in the bullpen, a guy who's been closing, Felipe Rivero, in all likelihood is not available. He's thrown the last 2 days. In fact, he had a 4-out save yesterday.
And he
Juan Nicasio, the former Rockies, the 9th inning guy right now.
You know, they tried to hand it over to Tony Watson for a while, and that wasn't going well. Rivero.
This is down the left field line, and it is foul.
Rivero taking over that role.
Rockies' last couple of innings produced traffic against Tyone. They could not score. First 2 were on in the 4th inning. Cargo hit the little flare. Desmond struck out. Story popped out. Last inning with 2 outs, the Rockies had 1st and 3rd. But Nolan on a 2-0 pitch hit a fly ball to center. 2-2.
Ray LeBlanc has been virtually all over the globe. Pitched for the Seibu Lions in Japan. 8 starts over there. Been in the minor leagues, the National League, American League.
15 years ago, Bobby Valentine managed.
Is that the team Kaz played for over there?
Kaz Matsui play for Seibu? Doug's going to check. And a ground ball to second. Off. And that's out number 2.
Well, the first 15,000 fans on Father's Day this Sunday will receive a barbecue spatula courtesy of King Soopers.
Desmond, a ground ball to short and a strikeout. Career .311 hitter at PNC Park.
So we did get confirmation. Kaz did play for Seibu. 9 years.
Question is Kaz still playing? Because I think he was. You know what? He is playing. He's playing for Rakuten, Spilly's old team. Well, they got rid of Spilly, and they said, we need another ex-Rocky. How old's Kaz now? He's 41. Wow. Good for him. He took great care of himself. This just makes me laugh whenever I think of Kaz, and he's a great guy. Is like the 16-year-old travel ball kid who's got his backpack on with 2 bats coming at him. So in the big leagues, he'd walk through the hotel like that because he always wanted a bat in his room or go out by the pool area and practice his swing. He also may have a heater in the side of his mouth at the same time. That's inside. In the interest of full disclosure.
But he had a big hit against the Phillies.
4-run homer.
Yep, those are always big.
Down the line, that's a fair ball. And that will be a double for Desmond. Well, we always say, Ian uses the whole ballpark, man.
We saw a couple of these in Chicago right down the first base line. I mean, this is definition line to line. This goes over the bag. Immediately called fair by Ron Kolpa. Polanco has the strongest of arms out in the outfield, but by the time he got it and cut it off, Ian was in at second base. That was Ian's 5th double.
Story a strikeout, and he popped to second. There's a base hit to left. Here comes Desmond home, and the throw is not going to be in time. The Rockies on the board. Trevor Story makes it 4-1. Little 2-out magic for Colorado here in the 6th.
The Rockies have been doing it all year long. 335 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, leads the major leagues. Highest ever over full series was the St. Louis Cardinals in 2013. They were 305. Finally, Trevor snaps out of the 0 for to get this single to left. And Josh Harrison didn't even have the ball by the time Desi was hitting third. Scores easily.
Nice cut of the bag at third by Desmond. Outside on Tony Walters. He's hit it on the ground twice to short. Walters the last 3 weeks hitting .345. Tony's hit left-handed pitching very well this year. He reaches, Toppy is in the on-deck circle to bat for Freeland.
Yeah, and Chris Russin is out in the bullpen for the Rockies.
Rockies trying to climb back in this game. Pirates got 2 in the 1st and 2 in the 3rd. That touches the zone. 2-1. Rockies just 15 and 24 against the Pirates since Hurdle took over. He's the hitting instructor for a year in Texas. Remember that?
Yes.
Rangers went to the World Series. And this is a pop fly to Josh Harrison and left. Rockies get a run, a 2-out double by Desmond, and a single followed by Story. So it's 4-1, middle of 6.
Down 4-1 here in Pittsburgh. It's time for the Coors Timeless Moment. It was on this day in 1939, which was a Monday, that the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown was dedicated. They had already had, however, 3 classes in the Hall of Fame. 10 men took a picture. Grover Alexander, Ty Cobb, Eddie Collins, Walter Johnson, Nap LaJoie, Connie Mack, Babe Ruth, George Sisler, Tris Speaker, Honus Wagner, and Cy Young on this day in 1939. In 1839, they decided to put the Hall of Fame where the Doubleday Field was that past year in Cooperstown. And we all know it's in the middle of nowhere in rural New York State.
It's not in the middle of nowhere. It's the greatest small town in America. Come on, Mark.
That is the truth.
That is my favorite small hamlet in the United States. I love Cooperstown, New York, and I know you do too, Huey.
I do, and you know, for Corey Sullivan, who was able to go back there just like Spilly did and go play in that Hall of Fame game. He had never been there before, and he came back raving about it and saying, wow, this is picturesque.
I mean, it's so beautiful with the lake there, and it's all about baseball. But I mean, even if you don't like baseball, it's a marvelous place to go. Jordy Mercer with a 1-2 count. Freeland working in the 6th inning. A couple of good innings for Kyle in the 4th and the 5th side.
He's just at 82 pitches.
You know, to follow up on Mark, this will be it though for him because he's due to lead off next inning. To follow up on Mark, there's some notable guys that were not selected on the first ballot. Cutter fouled off. I'll save you all of the names, but Rogers Hornsby, who once hit a cool .424,
but wasn't elected in the first ballot.
No. Lou Gehrig, remember him?
Heard of him.
He didn't go in the first ballot. Jimmy Fox, he hit some home runs. Lefty Grove. Wee Willie Keeler didn't even go in the first. Good pitch. Took something off. You know, to me, that's more of a curveball almost, speed-wise.
Speed-wise, because you drop that much off the fastball. His fastball's averaging 82, and then you drop to 78. That is a curveball because it goes down and it takes a lot of velocity off. It's a pinch hitter, Josh Bell.
Yeah, he's one of their top prospects, and he plays quite a bit for him. He's not in the lineup today. Switch hitter, big, strong guy. Josh been much better from the left side, 253. From the right side, just 167. He's among the rookie home run leaders in the National League. He's got 11 home runs. Cody Bellinger hit one the other day. He's up to 15. Hunter Renfroe of the Padres, 13. Hard ground ball, base hit. That'll bring up Max Moroff again. He's 0 for 1. He was walked in the first inning and scored on the 2-run home run by Harrison. And he was hit by a pitch in the 4th. Just missed on the inside corner. 1-0.
Well, with that base hit too by Bell, Rockies now have Scott Oberg up in their bullpen, not Chris Russin anymore.
This is a finish the inning situation. But you hope that Freeland can get through it. Good spot there. Looks like Tony Watson is going to be the next man up, another lefty for Pittsburgh, former closer. Pirates got a great start yesterday from Ivan Nova in beating Miami 3-1. He went 6 innings, no runs, just 1 hit allowed.
6-4 with a 2.83 ERA.
That's a strike. 2-2.
Inside on the Subaru strike zone.
And a ground ball, slowly hit, get to the bag, it will finally.
It's like, hurry up, come here, get to my glove.
2 outs.
I mean,
Bell is forced.
And I think Kyle was right in to let this ball go because he couldn't get it. He tried to barehand it, he didn't. But then it just never continued to carry the momentum to second base where he could turn that double play.
So Josh Harrison, a 2-run home run, reached on an error on a ground ball to short. Story threw the ball high to first, and then he lined out to center. So he's made hard contact twice. A home run for Harrison was his 8th, which is the second highest total in his career. We're not even at the All-Star break. He had 13 in 2014, which was a year he made the All-Star team, and he'll be a candidate this year. Runner going, ground ball through the left side, a base hit. First to third for Moroff. My guess is this will be the last hitter for Freeland. It's a left-handed bat. It's Polanco. And
he's handled him in his first 3 at-bats.
If it gets to freeze, and you hope it doesn't, because that would mean, in all likelihood, another run scored. Freeze is 2 for 3 against him, a single and a double.
And you touched on earlier how Pittsburgh has been swinging the bat better recently. But they'd still come in just 10th in the National League, 19th in baseball with a 248 team batting average. But that's gone up. I mean, just in the last couple, 2 or 3 weeks, because it was down in the 220s.
It's not surprising it's gone up, because all of a sudden their best player's gotten hot. McCutchen.
When you had Josh Harrison doing what he's doing out of the second spot.
So the very talented Gregory Polanco at the plate. He's had modest numbers, though, this year. Just 3 home runs, 13 driven in.
13 RBIs in 46 games. And last year he had 86 RBIs in 144 games.
Thought he was about to break out and become a superstar. There's a slider for a strike. I mean, this guy brings 5 tools to the ballpark. He's still very young. He's just 25. Freeland's got to get him here. 0-1 inside. Polanco 4 for his last 31.
That includes a 3-hit performance he had.
2-1. Young man from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, 6'5" and 230. He also stole 17 bases last year. And that's a base hit. And now it's 5-1. Harrison goes first to third. All of this with 2 outs. And Buddy's going to be forced to make a double switch because of that. The pitcher due up first next inning. Probably take Story out and bring in Amarista would be my guess. It's that or Walters. I think he wants to keep Tony in there.
And knowing maybe Watson, you go Valleca.
Yep, you're right. With Watson warming up, he will bring in Valleca. And Story will come out. Scott Oberg will come in. Pirates up 5-1. A pitching performance tonight. A comparison to the starters, Jamison Tyone, who came back from cancer surgery 5 weeks ago and pitched very well. 5 innings of shutout baseball. He struck out 5, walked 2. Kyle Freeland, one of his rougher outings. He's given up 5, 4 earned, responsible for runners at first and third. 9 hits in 5 2/3. He walked 2. He also hit a batter. In the double switch, Pat Valleca in for Trevor Story at shortstop. And Pat will lead it off in the top of the 7th. So Scott Oberg will face David Freese.
Scott's been pretty reliable lately out of that bullpen. You see 8 of 10 inherited runners have stranded. The Chicago series, 2 innings pitched, gave up only 1 hit, had a couple strikeouts.
A Colorado kid just went number 20 in the draft.
Congratulations to David Peterson.
David at Regis High School 3 years ago, and he has been pitching for the Oregon Ducks. To short. Baseball will always find Valleca flips to second to end the inning. So Oberg on 1 pitch gets out of it, but 3 hits and a 2-out run for the Pirates are up 5-1. Here's our Cooney Lexus look back. First inning, Josh Harrison got the barrel out on a fastball down, hit his 8th home run of the year. It was 2-0 out of the gate. And then David Freese, a line double in the 3rd inning to score Josh Harrison, who had reached on an error. Trevor Story has the Rockies' only RBI. A line single to left with 2 outs to bring home Ian Desmond, who had doubled. Rockies down 5-1. We go to the top of the 7th. Drew Goodman, Jeff Hewson, Mark Stout, and our Root Sports crew on a pretty hot and humid night in Pittsburgh. Pat Valaika is going to lead it off. Tony Watson, the former closer for the Pirates, is now on to pitch. It's been a rough ride for Tony. The league hitting .283 against him, and in 27 and a 30, he's allowed 6 home runs.
He also has 4 blown saves. That's why they moved him out of that spot. But he's 2nd in Pirates history in career appearances by a lefty with 429 now.
He's a 32-year-old from Sioux City, Iowa, who has frequently been mentioned as a guy that clubs are going to try to come and get around the trade deadline, trying to bolster their bullpen. Obviously, Tony's got to throw the baseball better. He's got a long track record of success, and Valaika with a leadoff single. I mean, you look at Watson, 2013, a 2.39 ERA in 67 appearances. 2014, he was 10-2 out of the pen with a 1.63. In 2015, he had a 1.91 ERA. Last year, he closed and saved 15 ball games.
And he still throws 93, 94.
The margin of error for a pitcher is so slim at this level. Base hit last time for Charlie, extending his hitting streak to 10 games. He leads Major League Baseball in total bases with 167, or 17 more than Aaron Judge, who's 2nd. And Judge right now is your Triple Crown leader in the American League.
Well, he's leading with 47 RBIs in the American League as Judge. There's not a guy in the American League that has 50 RBIs. Not one. And you look at Charlie with his 53, Mark Reynolds 54, Jake Lamb with 57, Paul Goldschmidt 51.
Aaron Judge is a nightly highlight package.
What was the one the other day? 121.1 miles an hour off the bat.
It's the hardest hit ball in the StatCast era. I know the StatCast era doesn't go back very far, but a few years. It's the hardest hit ball that's been tracked yet. He hit one 495 the other day. I'm sure it was 5-0 something, but you're not allowed to have a 500-foot home run, evidently. 2 strikes on Charlie. And this one is tailor-made for 2. That is the first double play grounded into all year for Charlie.
Well, first 10,000 through the gates on Saturday will receive a Colorado Rockies plastic ball and bat set courtesy of MLB Play Ball Weekend.
Strike on LeMahieu, a base hit for DJ in the 5th. He's 1 for 3. Yesterday, DJ reached 3 times. 2 hits and a walk. The walk forced in a run. He had a base hit to drive in a run later. That was in the 9th inning. He had 2 hits on Saturday. That took a strange hop, and DJ will have an infield hit. David Freese came to get it, reached with the bare hand, but And you appreciate Nolan, what he does. Where he had to reach for it, he had no chance to throw the baseball.
This took, on the second hop, a right turn for David Freese.
Yeah, and he had no chance.
No. So he had to reach all the way, and he's stumbling, and wisely just eats it.
And what I'm about to say is a compliment to Nolan and not a knock on David Freese. But Nolan, I think, somehow would have calculated that in his head, moved more to his right as he was coming to get it, and fielded it perfectly. That's just what you expect, right?
Right, and then even falling off balance, maybe throwing it behind his back all the way to first base.
Yeah, why not?
He would have come up with some way to make the play.
2 for 3 this evening for Arenado. To the gap in right center field, a base hit. DJ will stop at second. Now he's going to move up to third. Paused, hung out.
I just think he was playing it safe.
Yeah, had a sip of iced tea and then moved on to third.
Playing it safe, down by 4 runs. You don't want to run yourself out of it. Polanco has a very, very strong arm in right field. And again, Nolan with the base hit to right. This is what he had in the first inning, and now again here. And so DJ's looking, he's surveying. Okay, hits the bag. Well, now I can go.
This is one of those nights. Rockies have, they've had a hit in every inning, but the second, you'd love to see a big fly, and the right guys at the plate. That could get him right back there. 10 hits for the Rockies, 1 more than the Pirates have.
They're just 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position, and that was the base hit by Trevor last inning.
Reynolds 0 for 2 and a walk. Reynolds 75 career games against the Bucks. .310 average, 17 career home runs. His best numbers against Pittsburgh of any team he's competed against. And a called strike, and Reynolds just flips the bat. He thought that was low, but it got the outside corner at the knees, according to the Subaru strike zone.
And Tony just turns this one over. And Mark was looking for something in.
It's been one of those rare nights where the Rockies have not gotten the big hit. 2 left on in the 7th. It remains 5-1 Pirates. Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get you 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. A Charlie Black fan in the house. I don't know how we figured that out, but just a guess. And that first pitch is lined to center by Osuna. A lead single in the 7th against Scott Oberg. There's the real McCoy.
Well, you can tell the other one wasn't because he had to pull it off. It was starting to itch his face.
Yeah, I was confused for a moment.
And plus, when you're blowing bubbles, you get all in that beard. Yeah. That's a good one.
I have not seen a beard that large on a kid that young. No. McCutchen, an RBI single in the 3rd. He walked in the 5th. 1 for 2. Beat him with a fastball at 96.
Well, a lot of it has been made, even going in back to last offseason, about Andrew McCutchen. You know, changing position. Wasn't going to be a center fielder. He's back there now. But would they trade him? Where is he going to hit in the lineup? And for a guy that has meant so much to this organization to come into spring training with so many question marks. I mean, because for a while when he was first coming up, he was the guy. That's the only a lot of the reason why you watch the Pirates, because Andrew McCutchen.
It's strange, and you wonder at what point the toll of playing center field is a little bit of a factor. Guy who takes phenomenal care of himself. I also think it's so important for today's athlete, more so Huey, than at any point in time, because of social media, to block out all the outside noise, because there's more noise now than there's ever been.
It's like a jackhammer in your head at times. And that's why, I mean, you'll see some players, I've talked to guys, they're not on social media because they don't want all the negativity.
Yep.
They just say, forget it. Andrew McCutchen's still only 30 years of age.
Ground ball to 3rd. Nolan with the flip to get the force.
We've seen him do this a few times. We've seen Nolan go over there and flip it backhand like you would as a second baseman to the shortstop or an option quarterback out of the wishbone. But this was his only option, is to go this route. Talk about range factor. Well, Nolan's off the charts for that. And DJ acting like a first baseman. Get out of there and get that lead runner.
His hand-eye coordination is astounding. You just never see him, no matter how far he has to reach or bend, it's always in the pocket.
Unless he wants to barehand it. As this one, he gets out on the glove in the Subaru Supermo, but if he wants to barehand it, as he's going to his left, as we saw the other day too, which we'd never seen before.
That's why I always separate when we talk about athletic ability. Nowadays, it's always jump fast, run high. Or run, wait, excuse me. Did I screw that one up?
Yes.
Run fast, jump high means that you have extraordinary athleticism. You do. That is one form of athletic ability. Hand-eye coordination, being able to do multiple athletic things, is another form.
But that's
Nolan
harder
is not a fast runner.
No.
Nolan is a below-average runner. but Nolan is a tremendous athlete because of his hand-eye coordination. I guarantee you, if you gave him a tennis racket, within a few months, even if he hadn't played, he'd become pretty proficient playing tennis. Ping pong. You know, that's fouled off.
But that's where you have to watch guys. Yeah, I mean, we talk about scouts. You can't just put a formula for a guy. You can't just plug him into a computer and spit out a number of what he's going to do and how he's going to do it.
Like Nolan likes to brag, his best friend, Trace Thompson, whose brother's a pretty good shooter, I believe.
I've heard, yeah.
Clay. Yeah, right. He always says, ask Trace who's a better shooter. And he's talking about himself versus his buddy Trace. And I believe it. I guarantee you go out on the basketball court, he's probably not a guy you want to play horse with. He's not going to cross over and break your ankles.
Maybe throw a reverse dunk down. I don't know. But he'll shoot the lights out.
Shoot the lights out. 1-2. Ground ball through the right side. And Diaz reaches.
Well, for Diaz, with that base hit, he's reached safely in all 9 of his starts this year.
Old teammate of yours.
Kamara Barti, former Rocky, but I played with him in Baltimore. First base coach here.
Clint knew him from his Rockies days. Clint's very loyal. I'll tell you what he was thrilled about in the offseason. When he heard that Ron Gideon and Tony Diaz were elevated to the major league staff by Buddy Black. I mean, it meant a ton to Clint. Very close with those two guys. In fact, Ron Gideon and Mark's going to do a great piece on Giddy tomorrow. He and Clint, but Ron Gideon was the best man. There's Giddy. Was the best man in Clint and Carla's wedding.
Well, Clint was also talking about Tony Diaz, and his little boy saw him out on the field today, how he used to just carry him in his arms when he was a baby.
Yeah. Got a great story tomorrow. Yeah, Mark's going to tell it on, you don't want to miss it, on how Ron Gideon became a coach for Clint Hurdle. 2-0 on Jordy Mercer.
Where's that pitch? I didn't tell you. Well, it should be 1-2 right now, according to the Subaru strike zone. Instead, it's 3-0. Talk about pitchers pitching down in the zone, and that's where that pitch was.
Three and 1 on Mercer. Now, Buddy Black and Clint Hurdle competed against each other for so many years in the National League West. And though they, have never gotten to know each other exceptionally well socially, they've been in the same organization. Here's the 3-1. And that's ball 4. Now you have the bases loaded. And John Jaso is going to be the pinch hitter in the 9 spot. But Clint thinks so much of Buddy Black that in 2008, after the World Series season of '07, he was the manager of the All-Star team naturally, because the Rockies were winners of the pennant. And Clint selected Buddy to be on his coaching staff at the All-Star game. The Rockies will make another double switch. They're going to bring Reynolds off the field. They're going to bring in Tapia to play left, and Desmond will have to go get another glove. He'll go to first. And the new pitcher will be Chris Russin. Got all that? If you don't, we'll show you officially when we come back. One, and in the 7th inning with 1 out, some changes to tell you about. Tapia's come in a double switch. He'll play left field. Ian Desmond gets his first baseman's glove. Reynolds, who made the final out in the top of the 7th, will come off the field, and Chris Russin is making his 100th appearance. Not all this year, but now in his career, this is appearance number 100 for Chris. Leagues hit just 190 against Russin.
Well, appearance 99 for Chris Russin earned him his third win of the year. The game Friday in Chicago, where he pitched 2 innings, gave up a hit, did give up a run, but through 32 pitches in that ball game. That's why he's been off a couple days, feeling fresh today. And the big number for Chris is inherited runners scoring. He has not allowed one in 11 appearances, 11 tries.
For John Jaso, pinch hitting. He had a pinch double to win the ball game on Saturday. At least that was the winning run. He did that against the Marlins. Big swing and a miss for Jaso.
5 for 14 pinch hitting, including a home run.
Strikes. Rockies look for 2 up the middle. Infielders on the corners close enough they can come home. Runner at third is McCutchen, who obviously runs well.
You know, Ian's thinking at first base, this ball's probably going to come to me after just changing positions like it did when it went to Pat Valleca after he had just come into the game.
It usually works that way.
So it seems. But every day, Desi takes his fly balls, he'll go to first, take his ground balls. See him work at some other infield positions.
He was taking ground balls at short the other day.
Good block. Tony didn't even think about trying to grab it. He just dropped to his knees and smothered this ball. It's change up. Textbook.
Two and two on Jaso. And now it's 3-2. Pirates with 11 more hits tonight, hitting .312 coming into this ball game in the month of June. 10 or more hits in 9 of their last 11 games. Got to make a pitch here, and that's going to force in a run.
We had him 0-2.
This has turned into just a bad night at the office, a rare bad night at the office for the Rockies. They've made a couple errors. They haven't pitched particularly well. They haven't got, well, they've had traffic. They haven't got any key hits with runners in scoring position where they've been better than anybody in baseball.
Yeah, they've left 9 on.
Got a hit in every inning, at least one. Max Moroff. And this is going to get another run home. All 3 runners move up. 7-1.
Fourth ribby on the year for Max, all coming while he's been hitting right-handed.
Harrison at the plate tonight, 2 for 4. He's riding a 10-game hitting streak.
And they're just going to put him on.
I'll bring up Polanco, a chance to go left on left. You know, Kyle Freeland, who had to face Josh Harrison today, was looking forward to meeting Harrison. They have the same agent. Another way that players connect.
Yeah, sometimes they'll meet up in the off season during doing different appearances. You gotta check that.
Looked like he went.
Yeah.
And it was a strike, and Chris thinks it was a strike. Maybe he did call it. You know what? He called it a strike at the plate. That's why he didn't check it.
Okay.
It is 0-1. And that's a cross-up. Had to be, right?
I think so. Yeah. Lucky to get leather on this. Yeah.
Unfortunately for Tony, that hit the heel of his catcher's glove because it's you know, all of a sudden it's a panic thing. That could very easily hit you in the wrist, which is
maybe
not going to be fun.
No, and a different runner at third might have tried to score. A little unlike Chris for 12 pitches, 6 and 6.
Listen, it's one of those nights.
Sure.
Freeland wasn't sharp. Oberg wasn't sharp. And Chris Russin hasn't been particularly sharp. It's going to happen. This will get him off the field, though. Valleca will make the catch in the inning. 2 more runs. They'll be charged to Oberg. And now the Pirates leading 7-1 as we go to the 8th. PA, it is 7-1 Pirates over the Rockies. We go to the top of the 8th inning. Cargo, Ian Desmond, Raimel Tapia. And for Pittsburgh, their new arm on the hill is Edgar Santana.
Made his major league debut on Saturday against the Marlins. You see the numbers for Edgar. The scouting report on Santana with that fastball, 95, 96. Hard slider, hard changeup.
Been a closer in the minor leagues. He was closing in Indianapolis.
Last year, spent some time in A-ball, AA, and AAA.
If you're mastering the league you're in, that's not, it's not common, but we've seen it happen where a guy will pitch at 3 different levels in the same year.
Well, as long as they prove they can handle it, keep pushing them.
Cargo's 0 for 3.
But some of it has to do with the makeup of the individual.
That was what I was going to point out. It's not all about what you do physically between the lines. Yeah, that's a big part of it. But your maturity level is another large element. One. And he got him on a slider. That'll bring up Ian Desmond, who wants tacos. Fans follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special. And the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Desmond had a double and scored the Rockies' only run in the 6th. With 2 outs, he was brought home by Trevor Story. Below the knees, ball one. The Rockies in series openers. This is the 22nd series they've played this year. They are 15-6. Set the stage for them to be not only a dominant team, but they're a dominant team because they just keep winning series after series. Haven't won a series here though since April of 2011.
Of the 21 series this year, as you mentioned, 15-3-3,
which is remarkable.
Well, that's what you talk about. That's what you go into spring training, saying, hey, series, take a series, and then you build up the win total like the Rockies have. 17 games over 500.
4-pitch walk to Desmond. Those kids hoping for a Rockies rally here. Desmond at first, one out, and here comes Raimel Tapia. Raimel got a start recently and got a couple hits. The rally beard back on. And 2-0 on top here.
These two might have faced off at some point growing up or down in winter ball in the Dominican. Santana from Puerto Plata in the Dominican.
Nice area.
Yes, it is. First Tapia from San Pedro.
Three 3-0.
Gift on the Subaru strike zone.
A big gift. I don't like
Why
the
would you hear?
automatic.
I don't like.
I
no,
can't
I
say
don't.
it's 3-0. Okay, anywhere close to strike. I mean that's
a big.
Not
yes.
close.
I agree.
That's crazy. That looked low.
You're right.
He hasn't
Should be
thrown a
ball
ball on the
5.
plate yet.
Come on, Ed. Now you don't know what to swing at as a hitter.
Three and 2 on Tapia. 1 out. Desmond just walked. He's at first. That pitch was probably closer than the other two.
You're right.
And it was in the strike zone. It's called a ball. Fortunately.
Well, he ended up at first like he should have. Get that rally beard back on. Now he's got the hat turned on backwards and inside out. I mean, if that doesn't
whatever he
scream
needs to
rally,
do.
I don't know what does.
Ray Searage having a conversation with his young right-hander. is Jan Marinez in the bullpen. That's called getting ready quickly.
As soon as Ray got up to go out, talk to Santana. He grabbed a baseball and was chucking it down in the bullpen.
Tony's 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and hit a fly ball to left. Good seats available. 16,322. The contrast to what the Rockies were playing in front of at home and in Chicago.
Over 40 each night except for that first night in Chicago, but it was 39,000 there. And then at home we had the good crowds. 38 and 39,000 prior to coming on the road, the 2-game set with Cleveland.
Ball and a strike. This is another double play ball. Rockies have hit into 3 double plays tonight. 7-1 Pirates.
The Steel City 7-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning, but you can still gear up for the summer at your local Rockies dugout store, the place for all things Rockies. Gear up before the Rockies come home to take on the San Francisco Giants starting Thursday. Chris Russin still out on the hill.
He touches the outside corner. Strike one on David Freese. Freese a single and an RBI double tonight. 2 for 4. First of 6 matchups this year between the Rockies and the Pirates. Got some minor league news for all of you.
Hold on, let me guess. Brendan Rodgers got another hit?
Just relax. We'll get to Brendan Rodgers. We're going to start with AAA. Oh, we got it. Brendan Rodgers extended his hitting streak in his first at bat. 20 games now. That's from the Lancaster Jethawks. He's putting up stupid numbers, but we will get to more on him in a moment. Yesterday, for Albuquerque, Tom Murphy went 4 for 5 with a double. So now in 6 rehab games with the Topes, he's hitting .375. Home run, 4 doubles. Ryan McMahon, since he was moved up from Hartford, Playing first, third, and second. 10 games with the Topes. Batting .350. 5 doubles, 5 RBIs. Also walked 5 times. All right, we're going to move to Hartford now. You
okay.
ready?
Love me some yard goats.
Absolutely. We got to get yard goats gear.
Yes, we do.
Sam Howard went 5 innings. That's going to be an out. Tapia's glove. 2 gone as Osuna lines out. That'll bring up McCutchen. Sam Howard now has an ERA. Struck out 7, walked 1, and 9 starts with Hartford. Record's not good, 1-4, but he's got a .233 ERA. And he struck out 40 hitters in 46 1/3. So almost a hitter an inning. And the opposition hitting just 185. So Sam Howard's throwing the ball well for the yard goats. And next at the knees for a strike. Nolan's cousin, Josh Fuentes. Where do you think he plays? You know where he plays.
Third base.
They all play third in that family. He had a solo home run, his 5th of the year last night for Hartford.
I've had some friends go to that stadium and say it's absolutely gorgeous.
Well, it took them forever to build.
Well, you don't worry about that. It did. And there was some flaws and there were some lawsuits, but it's all behind.
Finally got it built. Dunkin' Donuts Park. Poor yard goats had to play every game on the road last year. Let's go to Lancaster, shall we?
Shall we?
This guy there playing second base, Brendan Rodgers.
Some shortstop.
Yep, some shortstop. Drafted #1 by the Rockies a couple of years ago. 3 for 5 yesterday. That's when he extended his hitting streak to 19 games. Then it raised his average to .402, or 54 points higher than the next best average in the Cal League, which happens to be owned by Roberto Ramos of Lancaster. That's a soft liner, gloved by Desmond. Ramos very quickly is hitting .348. He had 3 hits last night. Sam Hilliard, another name to remember. Sam Hilliard can flat rake also. That Lancaster team's loaded. 7-1 Pirates. Lake in the 9th is going to lead it off, and another pitcher is out there for Pittsburgh. It is Jan Marinez making his 24th appearance. Hard-throwing right-hander.
11 strikeouts in his last 5 appearances.
Had some issues walking, fellas.
Well, that's why you see 17 in a high whip, 1.73. Just a 2-pitch mix from on fastball, slider.
There's a strike on the inside corner. Second at bat for Valleca. Pat had a base hit to center his first time up. Came in a double switch. Sliders off the plate, 2-1. And Pat drives this ball to deep left center field, way back, and one hops over the wall despite a great effort by Harrison. For a moment, I thought Harrison was going to make that catch. That is as deep a ball as you can hit at PNC without getting the opportunity to just trot around the bases. He hit that 412 feet.
And you get a double out of it. I mean, that would have been up in the last row of the Wrigley Field stands. Because we talk about that ballpark and the short porches in the power alleys.
Okay, 408.
408 with the bounce it went 412. But for Harrison to get even with where you're thinking if he reaches out he has a chance to catch it is impressive. Because that ball was lathered.
And a wild pitch. So Valleca will go to third.
Wild pitch.
You got that involved.
Good. Trying everything. How about Pat tonight? 2 for 2. Well done, young man.
Blackman's been on twice, single and a walk.
Watch it, DJ.
Base hit extended Charlie's hitting streak to 10. What was it last year? 5 different hitting streaks of at least 10 for Blackman. And as great as last year was, he's been even better this year. That's hard to do.
It is.
When you hit well over 300, 29 home runs and 82 driven in from the top spot in the lineup, and you're going to blow away those numbers.
That tells you a little bit about the bottom part of the lineup, but all the success that you're having to duplicate it again. I mean, just sheer luck sometimes you get with hits. Doing everything they can.
Strange when you look up at the scoreboard and you just look at hits. Rockies have 11, Pirates have 11. Except the Pirates have a 7-1 lead.
You've left 10 on, they've left 11, but it's runners in scoring position. You also hit it 3 double plays. Rockies 1 for 9 tonight with Risp.
And he gets Blackman for the first out. Tell you a little bit about what you'll see tomorrow when you join us. Tyler Chatwood has won his last 3 road starts. In those 3 road starts, he has an ERA under 1. He's been dialed in. And speaking of #1 picks, that's what Garrett Cole was overall. He has a .483 ERA and a 3-6 record. Hard throwing right-hander. 2 of them tomorrow. And LeMahieu hits it on the ground to short. He's going to get an RBI out of it. 7-2. 31st driven in for DJ. That's 84 RBIs between your top 2 guys in your everyday lineup. 2 outs, nobody on for Arenado.
Third baseman, Nolan Arenado.
Well, the hair, you know, it's versatile. It becomes a mullet quickly if you want.
Changes. You know, he's trying. That's what I like. He's still involved in this game. He's still ready.
What he's doing is playing 27 outs.
That's right. Not giving it away.
He's a fan for 27 outs. Gotta love it. 1-1. Nolan's had a nice ball game. 3 singles and 4 at bats. And that catches the upper portion of the zone. 1-2. Two. And that ends the ball game. Rockies fall tonight 7-2 in Pittsburgh.